Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is called the app I use for the camera. This setting is called Cyber Me. What do you think? You like it? I kind of dig it, man. It reminds me of me if I was in my 30s. Hey, Tyler Kemp, how you doing? Yeah. I mean, what do you think? I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, like and sub. You whoever's here, do that. Jude Policella. Tyler Kemp's here. Toby. My day's good, man. My day is good. I'm talking to you, aren't I? I know this is, but you want to see some more of these? Hey, that's called Cyber Me. This is cartoon 3D. That's me as cartoon 3D. Yeah, weird, right? And what else we got here? We got a bunch. Let me go through them all. You think who you want? Let's see. We got that. I got me crying. Elderly is bald. No, it doesn't work. Let's see. What else we got? So, is toddler. There's toddler me. Hi. Oh boy. Ha ha. Yeah. Good stuff. I got some Italian in me, buddy. I lived in Italy for a while. Yeah. Andre the Giant. Not that I know of, buddy. I don't know. I haven't heard from those folks yet. So doesn't mean I'm not. It just means that we haven't talked about it. So you never know, man. You just never freaking know. Suicidal grief. I know. Well, that's what's happening. Actually, this is exactly what's happening. Yeah, it's exactly what's happening with AI. I'm having that battle right now. I've had my voice get stolen. Yeah, it's happening. Well, I think within 5 years, an actor at part of the business is going to sell off your likeness. You're gonna there's somebody else will own what you look like. Someone's going to own my visual, and I won't be able to work because someone's going to own what I look like. It's kind of a kick of ass, Jimmy. All right, everyone, sit tight for a second. I'm going to play you. I have a cup of coffee making. I have my water's in the boil. So I'm gonna give you guys a video to watch for a few minutes, and then we'll get into it. So here's a video from an old movie I was in. It's 2 minutes. Enjoy. I desire. And they want me to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for my desires. I am not sorry. Say my wife deserves better. She has joined the ranks of the oppressed. She marches her self-pity around like a peacock, like a pea-brained peacock. And now that she doesn't depend on me anymore, she has her army of crusaders to make her feel better about herself. They all marched for me once. All of them. I was real.
strong word. One miscue. And they turn on you. And they will bury you alive. It's the human parts of us that they now perceive as monstrous. And they preach humility. They want their enemies on the ground begging for mercy, annihilated, erased. I put it all on the line. My wealth, my name, my family. I fought.
For what?
Reality. Reality is under assault. It is finished.
All right. Let's see. What do we got? Andrew, glad you're here. Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to steal his unless you are Andrew Tate, then we should have a conversation. Hey, Narks, good to see you, buddy. Thank you. Punks, good to hear. Mohammed. Tom Hanks. I know Tom. Yeah, leave it at that. No, you're not an onion. Yeah, you're an onion. Woods is not an onion. Woods is a T-bone fucking steaks. No, you're not late at all. I was making a cup of coffee, and I want to give you guys something to do while I was gone. Unfortunate was that delivery was sick. Thank you. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Hey, Toby. Yeah, I mean, Hell or High Water. What a film, man. What a powerhouse of a film, huh? And that writer, Taylor Sheridan, has done a bunch of other things you're going to love. Here's my girl right there. And my favorite welder in the world right there. There she is. Best kid in the world, too. Wait, you start a new job next week? What are you doing? What's your new job? Do tell us. Oh, you want to see some more filters? Let's go with black and white. How's black and white? Okay, there's some black and white there for us. Everything's in black and white. Oh, there is a trailer. There is a trailer for that, but the thing is, actually, I talked to the filmmaker last week. His wife had a film that was premiering. I was going to be in that film for her, but she chose to go a different direction with it. What is this? Yeah, I am having a good day. I mean, thank you. Oh, what's this? Let's see. I want to offer promotion to your channel. The price is lower than a competitor. Quality guaranteed to be flexible, convenient order management panel, chat panel, everything in your hand. Use number customer. I don't know what this means. I have no idea who the fuck you are. All right. Don't know. Yeah, but you will be. You will be at one point. Shuni, our Shuni, working hard, like I see it. I don't know what Greg's is, but I hope it's something you enjoy doing. Color filter. Let's see. What do we got here? We got green screen. How's that? Like that? That's kind of, no, that's weird. It's a green screen. We've got flowers. That's just kind of pinkish, right? Yeah. We got inverted. Ooh, that's freaking weird. Legend. No, they have not called me about that. If they do, they'd be great. I'd love to talk to them, but this is VHS. This has got. That's right. The VHS did that. You guys are too young. What is Vivid? I like Vivid. Kind of cross. I'll leave it Vivid for now. There you go. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not a fan. Metal bands. I'm not a big fan of loud. Metal bands tend to be loud, so no, I'm not a big fan of loudness. But I love. That's good. That's an espresso. That's a huge cup of espresso. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I have a hockey tournament. I'll be back in Massachusetts end of the month playing. I got a hockey tournament. Yeah, thank you. Like and sub, everybody. Thank you, family, dude. You're going to a hockey game, the 29th. Who are you going to see? Actually, I'm playing. I'm skating today at 3:00, 4:00 out in Van Nuys, and skated yesterday in Burbank, and I'm going to skate a couple times next week. And then I got a tournament I'm playing in starting in the first week in March called the Bay State Games. We call the Cyclones. New York Cyclones. Hate you. I'm glad to hear it, man. It's a big deal. I've been training too, man. I've been training. I've been working real hard at this. I decided that I have a birthday coming up on the 25th, and I decided I do not want to be defeated by time. It's all mindset, man. It's all freaking mindset. A thought that gets repeated, but you got to really train ourselves to look at just the belief systems that we have. And I had a horrible belief system. I had a mindset that kept me believing that my body was broken, believing that, it's too much work to get it done. And I just, what? F that. So for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, since before Christmas, I should say, I'm going at it pretty good. And it's tough. I mean, I'm just at that point now where my body is, it's all like all the weaknesses are being tested. They're all coming very up to me, getting very aware. So, I found one yesterday in my hip and working it out, and doing the work and technique, and it's all coming together, man. I want to hit the ground running for this year. This year's gonna be a big year. You got to have skills this year. Use your nay. The week's been good, man. Yeah, babe. Who you going to see the Capitals? All right. Who are they playing? Do you know? Look at you. Yeah, I played for a living. I played for about 4 years, and then I coached for 20. Do I have the Wheaties commercial here? Hang on. I don't think I do. All right. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'll play the Wheaties commercial for later on. Hey, Narks, go do it, man. Go build that future. We will be here for you. Yeah, don't just start. Don't wait. Most good intentions get destroyed by thinking about it. Follow the impulse. If you want to learn philosophy, then go just pick up a fucking book. Go get started. You will find out very quickly if it's right or wrong for you. If you do not get moving down that path, you'll never know. And most things, for most people, 80% of us, 85% of us all fall to the trap of overthinking before just starting. Just get going. You don't need the right. For me, I always have to have the right. I'm so just awful. It wouldn't work out because I didn't have the right shoes. Or I didn't have enough time, or I wasn't, no, man, just get started. I would lie to myself, say, well, okay, let me get a good pair of shoes. Or let me get the right equipment. Let me get the right out. I had so many bad excuses for why I wasn't rebuilding my body. And it just was easy to do. I mean, it was simple to do, So that's up. All right, go get him. Get him. All right, get out of here. Irish lizard. We got to talk. I have a friend who's coming to Ireland. I want you to meet them if you can. All right. Yeah, we got to talk soon. Yeah. All right, man. I am. Yeah, I'll be around. I got stuff going on. If I'm not busy, I will pick up as always. Unraised cap. I like that. Oh, gotcha, Jude. All right, it's good, man. That's the one problem with texting is communication because you can't really understand the nuances of what's being expressed. Good, I know you're a go-getter, dude. Well, actually, it's the same thing though, Jude. Just start trying to see other points of view. I love that though. That's quite a thought you have there. Nugget, how you doing, man? Glad you're here. Today's going to be a disciplined 1 hour show because I have so many things I need to get done today. Oh, by the way, next weekend, that's right, next weekend, there's a live signing. If you go over to sargescorner.store, we have a quick signing. My birthday's I have a birthday on the 25th. So on the 24th, I'm doing a special. It's like reduced, like, things are like 20% off. So we're changing. Anyways, yeah, so come over. Next Saturday, we're going to have something else happening. Yep. Where is it? I had a banner here. Hang on. Hit the like button. Yeah. There you go. Well, I tell you what, it depends on what you're drinking. If you're drinking beer, yeah. But if you're drinking vodka, it's the Russians. Sorry, they win. And quite frankly, drinking beer, the Japanese will kick your ass, believe it or not. I was in Japan, fucking guys. It's like I'm not a drinker. Every culture has its own, alcohol thing. No, I don't know. I have forgotten so much about that. But I don't. Quite frankly, that's one of the things that I wish I had a shot for a Cold War because we could have answered questions like that. That's one thing that's one of the disappointments I have by not being involved in Black Ops Cold War. Because we could have easily answered that. We could have found a way to put that out there as a, something reasonable. But I'm not part of it, so I don't know. Skywalker. Looks don't count for shit. This is YouTube, baby. It's not the Jedi way. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've never gotten an answer for that. And it may be as simple as they just didn't think of it. Because remember, they did switch companies. They handed it off to Raven, and it wasn't Treyarch. So I don't know. when Menendez killed Hudson, kind of happy about it. Yeah, why? Why? Hey, Ishmael. Yeah, Darren Watkins Jr. Why do I know that name? Is he an actor I worked with? That sounds really familiar. Why? Why is that? Why do I remember that name? All right, we love it. This is so. For those of you who don't recognize this, I'm part of the Yakuza um, franchise, and this is yeah. There you go. Emma Fitz. Emma Fitz, we've missed you. I think you came by last week too, right? Yeah, Woods. Yeah, Hudson's a bot. Hudson, you bot, you. Oh my God, that's a good cup of Joe. It's an espresso blend I like. Yeah. Yes. So what's the any you guys? Yeah. So keep announcing this. We have a live signing next weekend. Same time, 9 a.m. There's a few things. The Funko Pop is already gone. I saw a really good price too. I may have more. Posters are going to be up there. There's going to be some. I got actually. Show them. Let's see what's got. What do we get rid of here? So. So I got this that I'm going to sign. It's a call word. This is available. I got a PS3. I'll sign this Black Ops 1. Got Black Ops 4 in the bag. Black Ops 2 for PS3. These are all available for signage. These two. This is my first copy I got from, and it was signed by Mark Lamia, the head of the studio. I may hold on to this. Yeah, it still works. The 2-day gold pass. So these will be going up onto the website soon. And I got this. I got a Black Ops 4, but I think I need that for my my Xbox. It's the PS4. I mean, my PS4. Anyways, those are going up on the website later today. A lot of these things. This one is actually, I gotta see if somebody wants that. I know somebody may want that. Anyways, yeah. And there'll be a few more things, but we're starting at Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be tough to get there. So, Arta. Oh yeah, it's easy to do. I mean, when I first started playing, and I got stuck in the rabbit hole, I couldn't go to sleep at night. I mean, I literally had the game playing in my head. Freaked me out, man. So I understand the PTSD element a lot. Oh boy, the dogs are barking. I love when the puppies bark. Let me see what's going on with the news. Let's do a little news walk because a lot of Trump got that. Did you see a picture of the judge who put the hearing down on Trump? Do you see what the guy looks like? The guy looks on PlayStation, Troy, because I have one. I've never played an Xbox. So I wouldn't know any better. I mean, like this whole thing I'm reading now, what happened with Trump in New York. It's like, well, every person who's ever owned real estate overinflates the value and then negotiate down. That is like a common. There's nobody who doesn't do that. That's when I get really. It becomes very disingenuous what's happening here. And when you take a look at the guy the judge, you can tell this guy's just this cranky old bastard. He's kind of homely, and you can tell that he's just, it's like Revenge of the Nerds, Let's see, what's on the, where do you guys get your news? What are your news sources? You guys follow 1441? No? Don't jinx it, dude. Don't jinx it, because the dogs just started. Believe me, don't jinx it. They're coming. They're on their way. So when I go on Google, all I get is AP, I get NPR, I get BBC. All those are extreme left-leaning. Reuters, which is super left-leaning. USA Today, which is, and then you have you got Fox News, which is, they used to be right-leaning. Now they're kind of becoming something else. I'm not sure what they are. And of course, local news, you only have the LA Times, which is falling apart. Hey, Jude. There's a big problem with that. Yeah, because the next generation does not want to join the military. They do not want to. They do not want to become law enforcement. And if it's true what I'm reading, if it's true that they're going to offer citizenship to illegals to join the military or police, that's a bad sign that they're going to offer citizenship for. Now that they're not, there's no allegiance to the country. There's alliance to. It's like you're setting up a really bad precedent. Hey, E-Ballet, how you doing? Yeah, well, it's important. I think that conversation with Putin is very important. Yes, Putin's got his own propaganda. Yeah, but and this is where I really feel like all the major outlets fail us, is they believe we're too stupid to discern when he's hustling a viewpoint and when, we got to hear all points. We got to hear both sides of an argument. We can't just shut one down because we disagree with them or we don't like the color of their hair. You know what I mean? We have to be able to hear, because there's value in there. You just can't say, well, this guy's an asshole, so no matter what he says, you can't do that, because there's value in everything. And the minute you start disavowing somebody because you disagree with them, say, well, no, because remember, we get in our echo chambers. The human brain, it loves things that are familiar. So if you throw the same idea, it's called brainwash, especially brainwashing. You repeat this idea over and over and over and over. You get people questioning it. Then you have no ability to look outside your own beliefs, because it's become so, your identity is connected to this belief. And once your identity is connected to a belief, it's impossible to hear something else, because the sense of who you are is wrapped up in this belief system. And most belief systems are flawed at best. So if you can't look at, if you aren't able to look beyond your own belief systems, okay, well, what is that about? Then you're stuck. That's why we kind of destroy each other, because we can't see beyond our own belief systems. My opinion on UFO sightings, man, I have to have an interview today. I have to do just about the subject. It's funny you should ask. I would love to see I would love to meet an alien. I'd love to meet a ghost. I would love to meet an alien. Right? Just, wouldn't that be great? I walk out and there's a thing lands hearing somebody walk, a creature walks out and say, hi. What a moment, right? I mean, it's unfortunate that we've taken, our human nature is to be afraid of what we're not familiar with, right? That's just biology. We're tribal. So that's why, some people call it racism. It's not, it's tribalism. We are trained to see what's familiar. And if it's not familiar, we have a little bit of a pause because we're not sure about it. But if you can puncture through that initial primal conditioning, then great things happen. And if if an alien, if I think, give me a ride, man. I would just love, or a ghost. I'd love to meet a ghost. So, do I believe it happens? I have no reason not to believe it doesn't happen. It's never happened to me. So I can't give an opinion on it, but I would love for it to happen to me. Yeah, well, I think that's when I say we have a uniparty. It's too bad you can't get Robert Kennedy and Donald Trump on the same ticket. But that's I think Robert Kennedy's a good choice, but he'll never get support of either party. So that's the problem with our system. Is I think Robert Kennedy is I like I like his balance. But he'll never. The Democrats, he's not gonna. They'll never do that. That's funny. Yeah, I know, and a lot of that's true. But unfortunately, he also has a lot of good points. Look at the results. We had our border was being secured. Now we have what, 1 million Chinese military-aged men have just crossed the border. Why are they here? What is that for? Why did they go to Ecuador? There's so many things are going wrong in this country. We have, I live in California. The homeless problem has increased. Now, the economy sucks. He stood up to Ford. So you can say that about him. You probably have your own news sources, probably whatever that is. But you got to look at the results of his actions. Yeah, he says simplistic, bombastic things, but he also, people are understanding. Well, shit, yeah, law and order. We need structure. We need discipline. We need some stuff. We need things that he is supporting, or at least the conversations about. All right, how do we keep jobs in America? How do we keep Americans employed? How do we take care of our own before we start sending how many billions of dollars away? So I get your point of view. You're impressed that he's a man child. He's big. He's a big personality. He's bombastic. Yes. But I think his BS, his propaganda, it sounds like you're listening to Rachel Maddow or somebody. And I get that. That's again, there's some criticisms that are not unfounded, but be careful to listen to what he's saying. Not just don't hate the guy just because somebody has taught you to hate him, but listen. That's what I'm saying. Get out of your belief system. Listen to what he's saying. We need a border that's secure. We don't know who. I've been to the border. It's unfreaking believable. And when you look at the difference between San Diego and Tijuana, that's all I need to know. There's a reason for that. And I've driven the border several times, and again, you've got to look at that. Why is that being allowed to happen? And as much as you hate this guy, you got to look at that. Well, that's the thing. They're it's not letting it. They're recruiting them to give them citizenship, but who they aligned with. Then if they are being asked to do horrific things like take arms up against the population, right, of Americans, they're not Americans, right? They're from another country. Now they're invaders with guns, with power and control. Like in LA, they're going to start having people without credentials, illegals, become cops. So where that's going to be a real trust issue. Yeah. How do you know that? Like, there's so many, again, they're unvetted. We don't know who they are, where they come from, what they're doing. This, I mean, I can't buy I cannot buy alcohol without showing my ID. I'm well over drinking age. I cannot buy alcohol unless I show an ID, which is fucking stupid. But yet you're going to have somebody who's unvetted carry a gun with legal authority, or give them weapons and military training. I mean, there's a problem there, and there's a problem there. Yeah. So yeah, I mean but you grew up an American. You grew up, you grew up with an understanding of a citizen, of a citizen. We have our differences, but we're trying to be citizens, right? When someone comes here without that sense of nationalism, they're just here to that is that's like hiring a mercenary. That's a dangerous precedent. Hey, Jude. Isn't it great getting over your shyness? Well, a nugget. Here's what I think. Okay, here's what I think: is that it's not one thing; it's several things. Is there an element of it that is a religious war? Yes. Is it a political war? Yes. Is it a war over gas and mining rights? Yes. This is where we get into trouble. I think is we think it's one thing. It's got to be one thing. It's never one thing. There's several things that play. Like, okay, why is our border so porous? Why are people pouring over without any kind of? Why is the federal government stopping Texas from protecting its own border? Well, you got to look through this. There's so many possibilities, and that's the problem. We have to see all of them and decide which ones we can control, and weigh the whole thing. Right now, it's again, this is the problem with our politics. If you believe in the Second Amendment, then you're a crazy Nazi MAGA guy. If you demand have abortions on demand, then you're just a crazy leftist. I mean, there's no allowance for nuance or variance. And that's what's happening. It's like either it's black or white, it's either or. So I think the war in the Middle East, there's a lot of factors, and many are not even discussed. Is it a proxy war for China and Russia? Is it a way to divert attention from something else? There's so many reasons for this. It's not, you can't, so don't reduce it to one thing. Look at all the possibilities, because there's all legitimacy in all this stuff. Well, what remarks on NATO, because they've been taken out of context, and this is scary part. Well, again, his remark on which remarks, and did you hear the whole remark? See, I don't think he said that. He didn't say that. And yeah, and he's not bent on again, Danielle, I think that's where the problem comes is when you only look at one side of the conversation, then they can take that conversation, twist it to meet the narrative or the echo chamber, and all of a sudden it becomes a lie. Which I don't think what you're saying is accurate. What I remember him saying was that he says you've got to pay. We can't be supporting NATO. We pay more than any country to sustain NATO, and the countries that most benefit from, i.e., Germany, right? They spend very little, but yet they spend a lot of money buying Russian gas. So he was talking about the basic economics of we are pumping billions of dollars to defend Europe, but Europe is constantly in conflict with us. So you say, well, why are we supporting them when they are basically bringing people in to destroy their own economies? So he made a much broader and much more nuanced conversation than just let Russia do what they want. And he was being bombastic when he says that. Well, okay, what if somebody attacked? And I don't think that was it. I think it was painted in a way that makes it seem like what you're saying. I didn't hear that. I looked at it a lot, and I listened to the whole conversation, and it wasn't the way the sound bites you're using are not accurate. So be careful with that stuff. Don't jump on a bandwagon just because you believe, because you want to not like somebody. I didn't hear your comment about Black Rifle Coffee. I know a lot about them. I know they just signed a deal with UFC. I know they're veteran owned and operated. I've seen the commercials. They seem like fun guys. I know there's some political dust with them about supporting somebody, but again, I gotta say, we have the right to support who we want, and just because somebody is like, I like Robert F. Kennedy, he's a Democrat, doesn't mean I'm a leftist. Just I like what he has to say. I like his balance. But I also know that he's also not going to be supported by anybody. He's kind of out there on the island. He's not Ross, but he's whatever. He's out there by himself. Yeah. Again, I'm there. I come in out of that disposition, dude. I mean, I think that I come into that and I want to ignore it, but then I realize I can't ignore it because the rest of the world is getting sucked into a vortex, and there's no voices asking for thought or slowing things down. So if people like us ignore it and we don't want to find balance, and that means the people who are jumping on board, their bifurcation is like, this is my team. Trump's an asshole. I don't care what he says. He's that. And like, oh shit! Now all that important information that's in that bubble will never get to us because, I hate this guy. Well, the Europeans and the leftists, they all do this, and but there's important stuff in there that can never get to us, and that's the problem. So when I go dark or I start ignoring things, I lose the ability to look at both sides, and Putin. I don't think Putin's a good dude. I think he's part of the old Cold War disposition. I think is he tricky? Yeah. Is he? But at the same time, he gave up a lot of information in the interview. He gave us a lot to think about. He gives a lot of stuff we didn't know, and it's just we'll never know whether Hillary made it, whether that Steele dossier was, she'll never own up to that one way. And if she does, you're not going to trust her. So there's no way, in our politicians will never ever take a loss because the way we are, someone says, I fucked that up. Then the other team will say, well, that means everything you did is fucked up. No, I just fucked up that one thing. But that's the problem we have. We're so quickly to when I watch these hearings, I don't hear solutions. I hear people trying to make other people look bad. And it's fun for your team when he gotcha, but it doesn't matter because you're not solving a problem. Yeah, we're making them look bad. Good for you. Yay, they look bad, but you're not solving a problem. Sitting there and trying to humiliate somebody across the aisle from you, it's not going to solve the problem. It may give you position. It may get your fan base. So it's like having it's having a football team. Our team. That's not a penalty. Yeah, but when they do it, that kind of thing. Well, if he was white, if he was black, if it was a woman, if it was there's all this shit where we just ascribe artificial qualities to other groups when we isolate ourselves. So, I think trying to be more trying to be more and more observant and more. I try to really understand. Okay, they say it's X, they say it's Y. What is there a Z in here someplace? Is there another idea? Is there another answer? You know? Yeah, there's a couple of these, bunch of these guys attacked. A lot of it's just gang activity too. I mean, we don't know who came over the border of the last year, and they came over and there's no way to check. And granted, I mean, they're saying walls work. I'm sorry, everything that wants to separate, you know, and protect has a wall. Every politician has a wall. You know, every concert has got a gate. You know, you want to protect something, you gotta have a way, make it difficult and stop. Again, this is where Trump gets so much traction, because build a wall, baby, and now it's coming. It's now, if they take guns away from people, giving guns to people who aren't citizens, and then taking away guns from citizens, that we got to look at. If you start giving guns to non-documented, non-vetted people, you give them guns to have dominion over the population of the United States, and then you disarm the rest of us, dude, that's a pretty obvious problem, you know? Easy, how you doing? Dude, you're working on F-35s? Dude, how exciting is that? Oh God, no, not even close. You talk about the game, not even close. I think there's very little interaction between the companies, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Raven. I don't think they interact a lot. I mean, I remember I've met executives, and they have. It's so hard to make a game. It is so difficult for people to get this stuff done and keep up with the advancement in technology during the production cycle. So there's very little crossover. I think they carry their own separate narratives, and I think there's a lot of ego involved. You know, people want sharing ideas is hard, and this group. I mean, this is a tough business. I mean, I think 30% of the business just got laid off of the video game business. It's a tough business, man. Tough business. So no, I don't think they share any information. I think it's all proprietary. And I think they just kind of hold on as hard as they can. Oh, yeah. Well, again, this is great point. Yes, NATO. But at the same time, you have countries like Poland who are terrified of being invaded. And do we think that? So basically, again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree. NATO should have, beefed up what they had, but I think there's so many things involved in the Ukraine that are misunderstood. I mean, historically misunderstood. The Ukraine has never been it did not want to be part of Russia. They were absorbed. I mean, there's all this history that's there. It goes back to the Tsarist Russia. So if you look at the history of, again, I could be totally wrong, because I studied history in college and a lot in college and high school. My hockey coach was a Russian history professor. And so we went through the Russian history, but who wrote that book, right? I don't know who wrote the book. So I have a version of Russian history that I've read, and I believe it to be true, but that book could be totally fucking wrong. I've never been to Russia. I speak to Russians, and they don't even know their own fucking history half the time. Remember, just like in Japan, you go to a school in Japan and ask them, how did World War II start? It starts with America just bombing the port. They have no mention that, oh, by the way, we were raping and pillaging most of China for 2 decades. And then we had expansions. Japan was badass. Japan was the most advanced military in the world in the 1930s and 40s. People don't know that. Japan they had the best airplanes. They had just gone, their emperor had just gone full bore to want to build an expansionist empire. They felt superior, and they fucking were. I mean, their Navy and their Air Force was the best at the time. So So my point is that there's so much of history is lost in the books in the books of the victors, but the whole relation. Remember, again, from Russia's point of view, Napoleon. Well, he had the Ottoman Empire invaded. There's tribal warfare all through that part of the world for hundreds of years, and then Napoleon invades. Right? Remember that? Napoleon invaded Russia. And then the Germans invade. Okay, Europe invades during World War I. And then they had an agreement with Hitler, and of course, and then then Germany invades. So Russia said, fuck this, we're done. No, we're done with the Europeans. Because they see themselves as separate from the Europeans. Because they're a monolithic, like Poland's a monolithic culture. They're Poles. They don't have a lot of diversity. They're Polish. In Europeans very diverse, but so these are monolithic cultures. So Russia, again, they want what's called buffer states. They want to have areas that if they get invaded again, and we say, well, we're not going to invade them. Yeah, well, there's different ways to invade. Like I feel like we have a type of invasion right now, right? And in the U.S., it's a soft invasion. But when you have tens of millions of people coming over the border, and you don't know who they are, and a large portion of them are military-aged men who basically are treated separately. They have their own camps. They have their own. China has bought up plots of land across the country. They bought up businesses. Again, am I paranoid? Probably, but there's a lot. There's a lot of logic here that has to be sorted through. And with Russia, go back to come around. Yeah, would that peace have lasted? Well, yeah, but maybe Ukraine would have got reabsorbed. Because remember, the soft invasion is when you send your population to live in another country, and now they take up space and they have these little enclaves. And now, well, hey, the Donbass. This is all Russian-speaking, Russian culture. We're Russian, and we've been living here for 50 years. We own this. This is us. Or we live in here 100 years. Now in Russia, well, we're going to protect you. And the problem with this that gets real is that I wish Tucker had asked him about Norway, because there's a huge Russian population moving into Norway. It's a big political problem now. And at what point do the Russians say, well, we have Russians being abused in Norway, and Norway can't defend itself? So it's a tricky thing. Putin is not this guy who was bumped out. I don't think he doesn't seem like he's a good dude, but how do you? I mean, I'll get back to saying he didn't fuck with Trump, because Trump's fucking crazy. Yeah, I agree. But again, it's both sides do it though, Jude. I mean, just watch Jay Hawley. I mean, they're just trying to make each other look stupid. They're not solving the problem. I think he brought his own translator with him. I think he had it on. I'm pretty sure he had his own. I don't know where you're getting that from, but when I read is that he went there with his own team. So I think, again, I think it may be. Again, you can hate Tucker Carlson, but you can't hate the integrity in which he actually opened up dialogue. Now, yeah, was it a platform for Putin's to get his propaganda? Sure, propaganda. Get his point of view in there, right? But it's just like in any other interview. The person who has it, like, listen to politicians talk. They don't ever give you a fucking answer, right? They're always going to try to find a way to avoid responsibility and blame someone else. So he's no different. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the funny thing about the Woods character. What would he be doing? Woods would be reducing his circle of responsibility. That means I think Woods would be gathering the people close to him, say, look, things are fucked up. This is dog eat dog. You can't trust Hudson. You can't trust the fucking CAA. You can't trust, because we don't know if they're politically motivated. We don't know what their motivation is. It is definitely not about, they may have been programmed to. If Woods was there, he would be pulling his circle in tight, the people he trusted and knew, and he'd get that lock solid, and then he would build out one member at a time to get a bigger coalition. That's what Woods would do. Woods would just draw in, the 4 or 5 guys he knew he could trust, and then they would start recruiting and build his own little pack, because that's where we're going. I know that's where we're going. Easy. There are so many overlooked details. There's so many things no one fucking knows, because no one really has a chance to investigate anybody. And even that story about the MREs, I've read that. There's doubts about that as well. I'm just saying that we got to be really careful who we listen to and what are they just regurgitating something they saw that triggers, something that's familiar. Yeah, I agree. I hate Trump, so this must be true. Oh, I hate the Russians, so this must be true. Oh, I hate the Europeans, so this must be true. We got to be, that is our death. Just because we don't like something doesn't mean it's not true. In fact, most things we don't like tend to be fucking true. That's how we get manipulated. In our world, human beings, our psyche, here's how it goes. Things we like are good. Things that are uncomfortable are bad, right? Think of everything you like. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I liked it. Oh, that's great, right? Think how we talk. Do you like the movie? Oh, that was a great movie. Oh, that means you liked it? Yeah. Movie could suck. Maybe your taste in movie sucks, but you loved it, right? So we got to be careful when we start. Remember, everything that we believe is good tends to be something we like. And got to be very, very careful when we do that. I think I answered it that way, in real life. And what Woods would be doing right now is he would basically be doing what all these guys are doing. They're like, you watch their podcast, they are bringing in guys they trust and talking and revealing information, and they're building their coalitions. And there is a veteran coalition happening in the States right now. I believe that they are basically making a militia. So when the federal government starts bringing in and arming foreigners to take action against our domestic population, we have a way to resist that. Because again, more than once, our own president threatened to use M16s. He says, well, I'm gonna, I have an F-16. So you're gonna turn an F-16 against your own population? Is that a threat? So there's a lot of stuff that's being said that gets fucking weird. Yeah, I think, but that's been around that was in. I think those have existed since the 60s, to be honest with you, because remember, even the first James Bond movies had, was it Moonwalker and Moonraker? They had it, and there's also one, they had, the Russians and Chinese had a rocket ship that was basically stealing and knocking out satellites back. So that's been around forever. The Chinese have been knocking down. Again, this is true. But that's not news. That's been around for a long time. Hey, Art, I'm reading your thing right now. Yeah. Well, the idea is also, it's a story, right? His story, history. Now that's not how it's actually a Latin. I think it's a Greek term. for history. Anyways, yeah, but make sure to get reading on somebody like the Russian, the Tsarist point of view about that war, or the English point of view. Because the book on Napoleon is written, now we have Napoleon, the last movie about Napoleon made him to a kind of a buffoon. I don't think Napoleon was a fucking buffoon. You don't build what he built by being a fucking buffoon, but Hollywood's kind of neutered him a little bit. I would try to get another book that has a counterpoint to it, Hey, Waffle, I do not know what a thug shake is, man. Yeah, he is. He is. There's there's an awful lot of to read about him, about his time in Elba when he was in exile. There's a book on that about Napoleon in Elba, and it was made into a movie decades ago. But it's a really interesting story about what happened in Elba and how he came back to power. It's really interesting. Brock Fuller, how you doing, buddy? All the not let's see on a lot more than I care, but I stand up for the truth. I'm reading Arta's story here. Interesting story. Yeah. Um, hey H, how you doing? Not anymore. Yeah. The Trojan War. I've read a lot about that. That's an interesting piece of history. It's really hard to ascertain what happened. I don't know anybody who's still alive from the Trojan War. I think the fables, like the stories that got passed down through the Greek tragedies and the Greek writings were very poetic. The actual details, it's like trying to read the Bible for technical reasons, for data. It's going to be hard because a lot of it's interpreted, and a lot of it is you make leaps when you write. I write. I wrote for Call of Duty. I write movies. You make certain leaps of knowledge when you write, and you're subjected to your own perspective, and you omit and you include certain. Remember, people who were writing back then, these were gods. Like reading and writing were things of the elites, the educated, the priests mostly. So they had a lot of dominion over what, again, and people are struggling against since day one. They weren't smarter, better, faster, stronger. They're dumber, poorer, and less. We're the best we've ever been right now as human beings. We're the best we've ever been. And you just go back, look at pictures. We're the best we've ever been, and so think how bad it was. So those guys who are doing that, they wrote from a perspective that was very limited. So the Trojan War itself, it's great. It's great for movies. It's great. It's some history, and there's some tactical things you can read about, but I'm not sure the whole story itself. I know I believe there was a war I think going to war in wooden ships with sails and clubs and beating each other to death has its limitations in terms of how do you report on that. How do you give an accurate report of what you just saw? I don't know how that happens. Yeah, Grievous. Yeah, I've been in a couple of those. Toby, it's like, again, like I said last week, a lot of the stuff that was written about, especially with Dave Anthony's Black Ops, not the Cold War's kind of, they're kind of lightweights with this one. They went a different direction, but Dave met with the Atlantic Council and they brought in a lot of people, experts who are in think tanks to say, okay, what are you thinking about? What's going to happen in 10 years? Because remember, we wrote Black Ops, 2011? So 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And they kind of knew this was coming because it was already there. It just hadn't reached the, down to the surface level yet. The new one, and this is something you all verify, the new concern is unemployment. Because when AI starts really becoming useful, and it can do things, it can drive cars, and it can answer phones, and it can do things as well, probably better than human beings, because it won't get tired. So you can have a robot drive a truck 24 hours a day because it'll never get tired, right? It doesn't. I mean, this repeats. So, and so, how many millions are going to be out of work, and how did they survive? And this is the concern that I have coming down the pike. Like, what happens if there's no more trucking jobs? There's 6 million guys. What happens to all the factories are now being run by computers? And what happens? What happens when we can start harvesting food? I mean, what happens? What do they do? We all can't be, Instagram. There's only some people who want to be on OnlyFans. What do we do? And that's going to be that's why I believe there's going to be contractions. I think there's people who have skills, who have insights, and who have assets are going to start pulling in their circles and building up. I got a feeling we are going to be in a situation where you're going to have to make decisions about who your friends are, and everyone else is going to have to, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. Send me the name of that book. I'd love to read it. Yeah, if you send me the name of that book, I'd love to read it. Yeah, how you doing, man? Yeah, it's been some time. How are you? How are things in your neck of the woods? Hey, family, dude, what have I done today? I cleaned my kitchen, made a cup of coffee. I organized my sale. I got a signing. I have a signing next Saturday morning, and I'm going through what's left of my stash. So I got posters. I got things. I cut the prices, and everything's like 25% of what they were. I'm cutting all these prices. I got posters that I'm putting up. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Just organizing my thing for next Saturday. Yeah, I mean that's happening. I mean that's happening. And I've got, again, I played hockey in Norway. Like you, I got friends. People let me know that there's concern because not only do you have the Putin, who's kind of like a gangster, there is the Russian mob. The Russian mob's in New York. It's in Brooklyn. I've seen them. I've met them. You guys seen John Wick, right? Well, okay, imagine that Russian mob without John Wick to keep him in check, because that's what's happening. And like, Brooklyn's tough, man. Brighton Beach, holy shit. Yeah, I coached as a hockey coach in New York for a while. This is years ago, and it got fucking scary, man. My son's not getting enough ice time. Shit, here. You can have the whole fucking thing. Yeah, he'll never leave the ice, trust me. There's actually there's a TV series I just heard about where they talk about this. There's a Norwegian TV show that talks about this exactly how some Russians infiltrate in Oslo, and they take over an oil platform. It's just yeah. So do we need a strong arm against the Russia? Yeah, absolutely, because they have been assaulted enough. Again, if you look at the world at no bad guys, what do they want? What do we want? Remember, bad guy. The bad guy is he's doing what we don't want them to do, so they must be bad. They got to look at why they're doing it. What's their point of view? Give up my petty resentment so I can see what somebody else is actually doing. Why are they doing that? Like why is our fucking federal government allowing millions of people who we cannot absorb or take care of flood over and why are they actively stopping people who are trying to stop it? Why is that? Why would they do that? And there's a lot of answers. Just pick one, I read that too, which makes no fucking sense at all. Yeah, well, the thing is, they want, but then again, planes have been landing. Most planes, I understand, are land through computers, anyways. I think they're better at it, but yeah, imagine there's I don't know, it's a new mindset, I think, in the next generation that grows up absorbed with technology. They won't want. I mean, I got friends who their kids do not want to learn how to drive. They would rather have a self-driving car. They don't want to learn. It's too much work, and they would much rather have somebody drive them. When I was a kid, we couldn't wait to get a driver's license. Now it's like, and this guy said, yeah, they don't. I go, hey, when do you get your license, man? Like, yeah, no, I'm just going to wait for the self-driving cars to come out. So we have a whole different generation coming up behind this that may want this. They may feel safer knowing that there's a computer up there than a person. And, for some reason, once they get good at things, I don't know. Let's see. Great question. I had a great time working on Transformers. It was a real honor. Michael Bay was great. Treated me with respect, a lot of dignity, and yeah, I wish I had a bigger role, but I'm grateful for the role I had. Oh yeah, that fucked me up, because do I think we are big enough liars to do that? Absolutely. But do I think we would actually? I don't know, man. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm not doubting the world is round, right? Although a lot of people are kind of throwing out challenges to me. It's like, oh, hey, just listen to what I got to say. Yeah, but man, your math's off. Certain things don't happen. Again, people try to use math, and you can omit elements. Anyways, I don't know. I because I watched it, I believe it because that's what I was exposed to. I saw, but I wasn't there. It was on TV. So I believe I saw it on TV. I believe I saw it on TV. I believe I saw rockets going into space. I believe I saw things on TV. I believe that there's people up in a space station right now. I've seen it on TV. Now, could that all be fake? Of course it could be. But I look at life, possibility and probability. Is it possible the moon landing was fake? Of course it's possible. Is it probable? I think it's a low probability that it was fake. Low probability. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. You can't ever say it's not possible. If I look at probabilities, I think it's a low probability And they faked the moon landing. Yeah, Jude, I know. I get it absolutely, but there are folks out there right now who just do not want to drive. They don't want to take. They don't want responsibility, and they're mostly wealthy kids. The ones I'm dealing with, they mostly are kind of kids who have a lot of. They have assets, and they're entitled, and they just they're used to having things given to them, and they just don't want to drive. You know. Yeah, I mean, again, is it possible it was fake? Of course, it's possible. Is it highly probable? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why. It makes no sense to spend all it. I don't know. It's just the probabilities are super low, I think. Yeah, I've been seeing that too. Well, how do you know that? I mean, I love that story, and I hope it's true. I hope that there's something that can that's stronger, that's more powerful than all of us that can straighten shit out. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't. You know, I so I don't know where you get. I don't know how do you know that? Were you with Tesla when it happened? So I don't know. I is that true? What data are you citing? That's the thing. When you start repeating something you heard as fact, that becomes an issue because you don't know it's a fact. You're just repeating someone else's idea. Facts are hard to come by these days. Here's a fact. I have this in my hand. Pretty hard to debate that. Now you could say that this is actually some type of AI rendering, but it still would be a cigar in my hand, whether it's my hand or my cigar or not. There's a cigar in a hand here, right? That's a fact. There's a hat in my head. That's a fact. Now even if it was just if I was here and they had a filter that put a hat on my head, it would still be head on my head. So that's what I mean by facts. You got to be very, very specific about what a fact is. Good point. When you have too many choices, it's really hard to make a decision. Yeah, because we're kind of greedy. We kind of want it all, and then we end up doing nothing a lot of times. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about allegations. You can take, again, do I believe it happens? Yes, I do. Have I seen it? No. Have I seen hints of it? Yes, I have seen. I'm in Hollywood. I've been in parties with the A-list. I know some of them. I know, and I also know that when you have a lot of money and you have a lot of power and influence, power is simply you have something somebody else wants, and you get to them, and they want it so much that you'll get them to do things to get before you give it to them. That's power. When you have something somebody else wants, or somebody has something you want, and they will get you to do things for them because you want something from them. All right. You understand that? So power is somebody has something I want and I want to get it from them. So I know that I have people I know in my life that who kind of compromise themselves to get things. And then oftentimes because it didn't turn out what they want, they got pissed off because, whoa, I didn't get what I wanted. Well, you negotiated a deal with this people, and next thing you know, you don't like the deal. So yeah, that happens often. The Epstein Island thing, I don't know. I have no way to look at that, but I have seen the shadows of this really bad behavior. I haven't seen it per se, but I know people who, wow, you got a lot of power here, and you maybe, people are willing to exploit themselves to get something from you, and you're more than happy to do that, And that's all I got to say about that. I did, yes. Thanks for asking. We had a beautiful last Saturday. We had a beautiful ceremony. A lot of people show up. A lot of good to see. I mean, I hate seeing people under circumstances. I saw his wife. I'm fairly close with one of the sons, who's actually an Army Ranger. Proud of him. Really proud of him. And I saw his wife, and it was a man. That guy generated a lot of love, man. He is a good man. He's a good man. Yeah. I have no idea. How are you? I have no idea how to respond. Birdie Medniev. Sorry, man. My vocal skills are shit. If a celebrity was an actual criminal, should I absolutely morally boycott because it wasn't? Here's the thing. And this is the whole Bud Light thing too. This is where it gets interesting. All right, sure. Bud Light does a stupid thing. That is just an insult to everybody. That's like that. That person is mentally ill. I don't care what you fuck. There's no woman who acts like that. That dude is mentally ill. Okay. So now, but when you damage a product like that, you're also damaging the people who make the product, which are probably good men, good women who have jobs at the breweries, who drive trucks, who own small businesses. They're hurt by it too. So when you say you want to punish a celebrity by destroying a film, well, actors get residuals for that. There are people who are affected by that boycott. So how do you if you want to make somebody a villain so that they can't ever work again, boycott the person. But that film, it may be someone's livelihood. COVID cost me big because of that. I had a couple big projects that got shut down, and that financially devastated me for a year or two. Because, oh shit, that's those residual payments. So do you boycott it morally and by hurting? You think you're hurting somebody who already got his money for the film, right? They may have back end points but it hurts the production company. So you teach them not to do that. But there's people who are making money off that film as well. Or there's, what I'm saying? Like, so you're just not attacking that individual. There is 100 people who are making a living off of that as well. So you got to be careful when you it's like punishing. You're in class, right? And someone's goofing off, and the teacher makes everybody stay after school because that one person's being an asshole. Didn't that piss you off when you're a kid? I didn't do anything. I'm sitting here, and he focus on him. We don't do that. We punish everybody. Just like even the thing with COVID. No, I'm fine. If you're under 50, you're going to be fine. Let's go on with our lives. Let's focus on the people who are vulnerable. Don't shut down the whole fucking world because 10% of the population is vulnerable. It's not. That's where it fucked up. I did, but I don't know. The last one wasn't so great. A Russian spy. I'm sure there's Russian spies everywhere, but we have spies. There's spies everywhere. It's not just. We got to stop looking at this thing as, you got to pick a side. I will pick our side if I have to, right? But I also got to know that I know so many great soldiers. Kamara's son is a soldier. I don't want him to go fight a war because some politician is making money off of it, or because some guy who wants a global agenda wants to kill off young men who are willing to stand up for what they believe in. I don't want to sacrifice our young men and women for something that has no fucking value. Really, that's not about protecting our country and protecting GE, protecting that. I'm not sure if that's because they fucked us. All these companies that took their businesses out of America and put them in another company to make more profits for their shareholders. And I'm from a town like this. It devastated the economy. All right, take a little less profit, invest in the community. I'm from a town that was prosperous in the 60s and 70s, and then GE left, and it's like it's a dying town. So I don't want to defend. I don't want my guys going over and defending them in some other country when they fucked over a small town because they want to make more money for their investors. That's where we got to look inside, you know. Hey, chicken, how you doing? Yeah, oh shit, it's almost one time to go. Thanks, Toby. Yeah, you too, man. What takes one to know one, right? It takes one to know one. And the fact that you guys can hear the nuance in the conversation means that exists in you. You just have to fight for it when you're in a conversation with people. You got to slow it down and say, wait a minute, you know, just because you saw it, like there's some movie here. Like, here's my point. Someone said about the movie. Yeah, look at documentary. I'm in the film business. There's an experiment that was done early in the 50s. I can't remember. It was Boonwell. Took their experiment with this idea of film, talking film, sound, because film was just no sound, right? So they experimented with film because it was new that we hadn't understood that something you could see and repeat seeing it, you could context, right? So they had an experiment. They had this woman. It's a very famous. Every film students probably saw this. At least they should have. I don't know what you guys are doing these days, but it showed this woman sitting in a windowsill, right? And it's the same footage. It's like 6 seconds. And the experiment is this: they take a scene of a child playing with a ball in a park, and she's in a window. She's looking down into the street, and they cut to this young child playing with the ball, a little boy playing soccer or something, having a great time. And then cuts back to the woman, and then cuts back to the little boy, scene over. And they asked the people watching it, say, well, what was the woman thinking? Oh, she was enjoying the child. She's happy. She's enjoying the child playing soccer. She's just, you know, and everybody who was in the class, they think, yeah, the old woman was actually she's very happy about watching her grandson play. They all had their different, but it was uplifting. They all felt she was in a good mood. And she was the actor was just flat-faced. There's no expression. And then they took the other side and they put a funeral procession with women crying, people crying, and you know, and they put that. So they show the same exact footage, women sitting there, and then they show the funeral procession, and then the women, people crying, and then they cut to her watching it, and they cut back to their funeral procession, and then fade out. And so they asked another group, well, what was she feeling there? I said, well, she was sad. She's probably lost her husband, or she knew somebody, her friend was dying. She was very upset. She was, you know, and then all these different about pain. She's in pain. She's sad. She's in mourning. Same exact footage, but you frame it, the context. It's called context. You frame it up. Oh, something's sad. Oh, she's watching. And no matter how you frame it up, you know, oh, here's this woman. What's she doing? Oh, something sad's happening. Oh, she must be feeling bad. So that's the power of that. So basically, documentary filmmakers are brilliant at making you see. They cherry pick information and they build a case, a narrative. It's called creating a narrative. And you take a narrative, you create the narrative, and there it is at the end. You've proved something, right? No, you've just created a context. So this whole thing about all this Tesla stuff, I'm sure someone could take the same footage and recut it to give the opposite effect, right? That's filmmaking. So be careful when films are not facts. They're a compilation of information designed for an outcome. It's called a narration, narrative. Film is not fact. Do not take your life lessons from comedians and filmmakers, because they create a context and then they manipulate you inside of it. You know, anyways. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good today, Omar. Hey, get out of here. Hot. I have a signing next week. Get your pre-signed stuff. Well, it'll be online. Yeah. Oh, look, I'm not going to talk about that. That's kind of inappropriate. I really don't want to share that. That's private. And I asked, and let's stop talking about that now because that's a very private thing. His family's a very I know them well, and I want to respect Kamar and respect all this stuff. So I'm not going to talk too much about it more than I have. Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, it's there'll be more information coming out. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour and a half already. So what's going on now? It's 10:30 a.m. And we're gonna start winding down here. Any last? Boy, that was quite a ramble today, huh? We hit a lot of points. All right, see you next Saturday. We're gonna have the signing. Nugget, I don't think I got one, man. I'll try to find. I don't have it. It's in storage. Yeah, peace and love, Jude. All right, I'm going to check out of here. It's time to go. Thank you for listening to my ranting and ravings. I'll be back here next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Got a signing. If you want to get something, please. Hey, Gino, kind of late to the party, buddy. Yeah, if you want something, go over to Sarge's Corner on .store. Excuse me, Sarge's Corner .store. I think there was something like posters like $7. I mean, we're really kind of moving content out of here. So yeah, there's a couple of new posters going up on the website, big ones. So there's some new stuff, and there'll be new things coming up all week. I did have, yeah. So just keep it tight. Sarge's Corner .store. Let me see if I have that here. Hang on. Banners. I think I've got it somewhere here. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Anyways. All right, we're done. Everybody, have a great day. Remember, a thought that gets repeated becomes a belief. A belief that's given time, attention, and focus becomes momentum, right? Momentum dictates the quality of your life. And momentum is, things that you latch onto and say, this is true. So be very, very, very careful as where you draw your facts from. Remember, just because something feels good or something's comfortable doesn't mean it's right or doesn't mean it's accurate. You gotta be you have to be ruthless in your personal scrutiny. Do I like this because it makes me feel comfortable, but it's wrong? Why? Always personal scrutiny, is my belief so strong that I can't see another reality, right? Yeah. All right, I'm getting out of here. All right, woods out. Have a great day, everybody. And as we say, woods out. And end the stream.